Okay, so guys, let us start. So, we are going to continue further with Linux commands. And last lecture, we had little bit of disturbance for offline student with audio. Some few examples I taken. We'll quickly recap that one and continue further. So, I have the notes for our today's series of lecture. We are going to start with SED command. SED stands for stream editor. Now, what is the difference between a VI editor and your stream editor is, if you're using a VI editor, then you need to open the file and make the changes. But stream editor helps you to make the changes in the file even without opening it. Example, see this here. So, if I now notice ls, there are no files. If I'm using a VI editor, I will type vif1.txt. I'll have to open the file like this. Then I'll have to change that to insert mode. And then I'll give here some hello, hello, and then what? Hello. Fine. And then escape colon WQ. Save the file. But now, if I want to make the changes in the file even without opening it, even without me opening the file, if I want to manipulate the text data, then we can go with what? Stream editor. So stream editor is a powerful tool in Linux for processing and manipulating text data, right? With SED, operations performed on files without the need to open them. So you need not open the file, make the changes, then save the file. No. These manipulating the text data includes substitution, deletion of data, printing of data, and insertion of what? Data. And what? Insertion of data. Let's see one by one. So firstly, I have here a file ls, which I now created. And if you want to see the content of it, f1.txt, this is the content. Now I want to replace in every line this particular keyword, okay, hello, in every line, the first word I want to replace with welcome. So we'll use this command sed. You can use a single quotes or double quotes. We'll check that. Double quotes or single quotes, both will work. S slash, S slash. I'll be using here the keyword hello. Ensure that the case of it, you're checking that. And then I want to replace that with welcome. And please again terminate that with a slash. If you do not terminate with a slash, it will not work. And these changes, you want to do it on that word hello, which is the first occurrence in every line. In every line, first occurrence. It's not just going to replace the first occurrence. Every line is this line, first occurrence replaced. This line, that's the only word, first occurrence replaced. Sir, what if now I basically look at cat? If you now notice, a cat command very clearly says it has not modified the file content permanently. The file content modification is not permanent. It is just a temporary modifications in the output can be seen. Let me clear this. Again, let's do cat f1.txt. The content is not modified. Let us place welcome with the second occurrence of the keyword hello. So SED, can I use a double quote? S, let's use a slash. Then what? Hello, slash, welcome. I'll use a slash and 2. And let's type here f1.txt. So the meaning of 2 here is, in each line of the file, the second occurrences needs to be replaced. You see that? I can also use the double quotes here. It's not that only single quotes will work. Whatever you're comfortable with, since Java developers, see what happens is they are comfortable with basically, right, double quotes. But it's up to you how you want to deal with it. Now, let's say I want to replace all the occurrences. then replace this with G. Just come here, delete this and make it G. And what this does, it replaces all the content. But still, all this content that is getting replaced is temporary. If I want to save this content permanently, we are going to write SED-I, and then you can type here S/hello/ I'm going to type here welcome, right? And do not forget to put a slash. So by default, if you want to replace all, then make it G. If you want to make it what? Replace all, then go with what? G. And if you don't want to replace all, then better one word you want to replace it, leave it. But if you give it as G, and then the file name f1.txt, observe the changes has happened. That's why we said I'm already putting this live on YouTube. Do not worry about recording it. This is already happening live on YouTube, guys. Right? You can see this here. It's streaming. So don't send the request for recordings or anything. It's already been, okay, put live on YouTube. And you can check the recordings there on YouTube for later revision. Okay. Now, if you notice cat f1.txt, the complete content got replaced. That's why I said SED can, okay, this command SED, that is stream editor, can manipulate the text data without even opening the file. Okay, let's now clear the screen. Now the next command, okay, is to delete a file. So see this here. I'll also share these notes, right, in a very systematic manner like this. I want to delete the record. In order to delete the record, we will use 1D. D means delete. 1 means the first line. So delete and update, and basically update the file with a deleted content. Let's say I want to delete a file. So delete a line in a particular file, not delete a file, delete a particular line inside that file. So I will use SED-I. I will use your 1D. 1D it means what? Tell me. The first line you delete. In which file, guys? In f1.txt. Let's see. Cat f1.txt. f1.txt. Is the file deleted? Yes. Or not file deleted. The line deleted? Yes. The line is basically what? Deleted. Did you understand now? So let's open this file. Vi f1.txt. And we'll quickly recap the delete operation. So what I'll do is now I'll write here 1 welcome. And let me give the numbers 2 dot welcome, then 3 dot welcome, 4 dot welcome, 5 dot welcome, 6 dot welcome, 7 dot welcome. Okay. Escape, quit and save. Now I have the file content here. If you notice cat f1.txt, I have this. Now I want to delete the content from line 1 to line 3. How do I do it? SED-I. You want to delete from first line to which line number? 3D. And let's give here f1.txt. Let's do a cat command. f1.txt, is this deleted? 1, 2 and 3. Now let's say I want to delete the last line. I want to delete the last line. Now again, this is considered as first line, second line, third line, fourth line. Now in this is the last line. How do I delete the last line? We use here, the last line is represented with $D and then f1.txt. So let's see here, cat f1.txt, and the last line is deleted. I want to delete from first line to last line everything. How do I do it? How do I do it? I will use, just press the up arrow, okay, to get the previously typed command, and 1 comma D. And now do cat f1.txt. Will it print something? Nothing. I hope this is clear now. So with this, we have done a quick recap of delete. Okay. Okay, we'll discuss. Hold on. Now the point is, let us look at now printing. Okay, let's try to understand that. So let's go here, vi f1.txt, and let's do one thing. Let us here write 1 comma 1 welcome, 2 welcome, 3 welcome, and let's type here 4 welcome, 5 welcome, 6 welcome. Escape colon WQ. Now let's look at the printing part. Okay, I want to print the content. So let's look at the printing part. Printing. So if you want to print the data, you will use sed hyphen n, and from which line to which line you want to print. Okay, so something like this. See this here. So I'm going to write here sed hyphen n. Okay, and then I'm going to write, I want to print from line number 1 to line number 3. But because it is printing, we'll use P. Did you understand? If it was deleting, D. If it is printing, P. And now, from which file you want to read the data and print? I want to read the data and print from welcome 1, 2, and then what? 3. Welcome 1, 2, and then what? 3. Okay. So now, let's say, I want to print only the second line. Can you guess the command? I want to print only the third line, let's say. Can I do this? Right? Did you understand this now? Okay. So if you want to print all, then directly go with cat command only. You know why all these things. Here I have an option of printing the content of the file from a particular line to a given line, or only a particular single line. I can do that. Is this part clear for all of you? Did you all understand this now? Yes. Now what I want to do is I want to insert the data at a particular line. How do I insert the data at a particular line? So sed. Firstly, let's see this here. Clear the screen. Now cat f1.txt. After line, I want to insert the data at line 2. So I'll type sed. I will now use a single quote, 2i, and then put a slash, right? And then write down hello world. Hello world. Fine. In which file do you want to do this? f1.txt. Can you see that? So I'm able to insert. See, that's what I said. Using sed, we can do what? Substitution, that is replacing a particular keyword. Then deletion, which we saw. Printing, we saw. Insertion. But now, if you observe, when I'm doing it here, clear, and now when I do cat f1.txt, the data that got inserted was temporary. The data that was inserted was not a permanent data. Are you understanding what am I telling you? Yes. So in this case now, if I type here sed, right, how do I make it permanent? Any guess? Sure. Okay. So I'm just typing hyphen I, 2i slash hello world. And this is supposed to happen in f1.txt. Now let's see cat f1.txt. Did you understand? I want to add the data in the last line. I want to add the data in last line. So if it is delete the data in the last line, $D. But if I want to add the data in the last line, sed, we are going to write here $A slash, we will write last line. In which file? f1.txt. But what this does when I use $A, is the data permanently injected or temporary injected with A? Huh? Temporary. How do I make it permanent? Yes. If you want to inject that data permanently, I'm using this. So f1.txt. Did you all get this now? Yes. Did you understand this sed commands? Okay. Now let's continue further. Online students, are you all clear with this? Yes. Okay, good. And I hope people here also are all clear. ये तो बहुत ही ज्यादा clear है. हाँ? No, see, it is for reading, right? So that's where basically the command is what? Okay, we are reading it. When you are, it's for printing. I'm using hyphen n means the job here is what? Reading it. I'm not injecting the data. I'm reading it. Is it clear? Now, let's go here. Clear. Observe now. Now we are going to go with a concept which is called as user management. User management in Linux. See what happens, I'll tell you. In reality, when you're working in a project, if this is your server, multiple users can connect with the same server. Multiple users can connect with what? Same server. Correct? Right now, I'm just connecting to this server, okay, as EC2 hyphen user. Got it? So I'm just creating a AWS virtual machine, and once I created this machine, by default EC2 hyphen user is been created with admin permissions. Admin here, it means they call that as sudo user. They don't call it as admin users here, they call that as sudo user. Super user do. Super user do. That is the meaning sudo user. So we don't call here in Linux as admin, we will call that as sudo user. Keep this in mind. So this guy who has basically now created, okay, when we create an account in EC2, sorry, when we create a server, okay, in your AWS, a virtual server using EC2, it is going to create one user by default, EC2 hyphen user with the name what? Sudo. Now, if I want some more user accounts to be created, I can also do that in basically what? AWS. But understand here one more thing which I want to discuss with you people is this. So here, whenever I create an account in your Linux machines, whenever an account is created in your Linux machine, by default, there will be a home folder. I'm using the term folder for layman terms understanding, or you can use the word directory. So by default, there is a folder called as home. Now let's say I basically created a virtual machine, okay, and in that virtual machine one default user is being created, and that user will have one folder called as EC2. Correct? Which means under this home directory there is a subfolder called as EC2, so that this EC2 user, whatever he does now, his all work will be saved in this folder. Got it? Whatever work he's now doing it, creation of file, deletion of file, updating the file, XYZ things, all that work will be saved in this folder. Let's say now I create one more user. Now this second user that I'm going to create now, I will create this user called as Mike. Okay. Now when I create a user as Mike, what will happen is inside your home directory, one more subdirectory with the name Mike will get created automatically. Why? So that the Mike user, whatever work is doing, all his work will be saved inside which folder? But that is again a subdirectory of what? Which means inside your home directory, a Mike folder will be created, a Mike directory will be created, and whatever work your user 2 does, that will all be saved here. Got it? Same way, basically now, when I create here, okay, a third user. Let's say the third user created here is what? You know the name very well, because these people have been helping me in my Java classes as well, right? So Stalin and Mike, they have been one of our favorite characters who help us to learn Java, Spring Boot, and even DevOps. So now see that under home directory, there is one more folder created called as Stalin. Why? So that whatever work Stalin does, he can now save all his work in what? Stalin. Now, by default, Stalin cannot access this folder. And by default, Mike cannot access this folder. By default, this Mike cannot access this folder. And if you want that, we can set the permissions. For now, we are not looking at anything to deal with permissions. We are looking at creating a users, how the users are created, and we will explore that in our today's class. Then we will look at how to give admin rights to this user. By default, they'll not have the admin rights. Admin rights means sudo users. So let's see how to create a user. So there are list of commands that has been identified. The first command that you see here is sudo user add and the username. So if you want to create a user, you will just use this sudo, which means, okay, with the admin, right? Basically, an admin is doing this operation. Is this clear? Who is admin here? EC2 user. So if you now just write here sudo and you will type user add, you will type here user add and the username. What's the username we decided to give? Mike. Now this has created a user. But now for this user, I need to give a password. So I'll again use the next command sudo passwd. Password I need to set for the user Mike. So I'm typing sudo passwd Mike. And now you notice I'll enter the password. I'll enter the password. Okay. Now see this here. If now what has happened is there is a user that has been created with the name Mike. Sir, can I see that user? Yes, you can see that. You can just type your grep command. What does the grep command does? What does the grep command does? It searches for a particular content. In layman terms, it searches for a particular content. What is the content here? Mike. Where do you want to search? So all of these users that are created now, you can find that out inside /etc/passwd directory. So inside that directory, you can see all your users, but I don't want to see all. I just created a user called as what? Mike. And you observe for this Mike under home, there is one folder created. Did you understand? Yes. Now you could have also done a cat on that. What does cat command does? It will give you the complete content of passwd. Now see, this is of no use for me right now. But at the end, you can see that /home/Mike, which means there is basically a folder created under the home directory with the name Mike when the user is created. Okay. So now I will clear this particular screen. Let's create some more user for the practice purpose. I'll write here sudo. So can you now tell me sudo? Then after that, what we will write here? What we will write here? User add. And let's give the name as what? Stalin. Then how do we create the password? Sudo passwd for Stalin. And now the password we will give it testing. Let's give the password testing. Fine. How do we now find out whether this user is created or not? The grep command. I can use here what next? I can search for Stalin. And where is this user details we can see? Under which directory? /etc/passwd. Is this created? Yeah, everybody got this now? Which means every time I'm creating a user, you will observe under home directory with that username and folder is created. Now let's do one thing. Let's perform a clear. Now the next thing that we are going to do here is this. So we have seen how to display all the users, but now from this EC2 user, let me switch the user, right? I want to now switch the user. So SU stands for switch user. I want to switch to user Mike. Now when I switch to user Mike, it is asking password that I gave. Upon giving password, you can see this here now. Okay, which is the user here? Now you can also check the currently logged in user. Very good. Who is the currently logged in user? But now observe one thing. If I have switched the user as Mike, what should be my current working directory? By default, what should be the current working directory? How do we check the present working directory? PWD. What is the present working directory? Which means I've logged in as Mike, but I'm still pointing to EC2 folder. If I now do an ls command on this, access denied. Got it? So by default, even when I'm switching the user, I'm not able to access someone else folder. I don't have that permissions as of now. So what I will do is now, let's do one thing. I'll firstly go to my current working directory. For Mike, which is the current working directory? Mike. So I will type cd tilde. You can also do that cd /home/Mike, but I'm doing cd tilde. Now let's see the present working directory, Mike. Now Mike is pointing to Mike folder. Does Mike has the rights to now do something inside that folder? Yes. If I do ls, what is it now? No. Can I create a file? What is a command to create a file? Okay, you want to use touch command. There are several ways to do it. Let's write f1.txt. Can we do ls? Yes. Did we do that now? Which means basically inside the Mike folder, I have now created a file because Mike has the permission to interact with that folder which was created for him when the user account was created by me. Okay, is this clear? Let's type here clear. Now, right now I'm in logged in as what? Mike. So now I'll come out of it just by typing exit. Now when you type exit, I'm back to the root account, the sudo user. Who is the sudo user by default here? EC2. And now let's do one thing. As a sudo user, let me try to access the content of Mike. Correct? Can we do that? Let's see. So firstly, I'll go to cd dot dot. What it will do? Back to home folder. Correct? I'll go back to home folder. Now let's do one thing. Let's do ls. You see that I have got the folders. EC2 folder. Under home, I've got Mike. Under home, I've got Stalin. Another way to check that how many folders are present under home. These folders were created when user accounts were created. Now let me change to Mike. Got it? Even he is not able to access the folder that belongs to Mike. Is this clear, everyone, now? Okay. So did you understand now? For every user, there is a personal work area that has been created where he can do the work by default. So let's go back to now the present working directory. How do I do this now? How do I do that? CD tilde. I hope this is clear now. Now let's do one thing. Let's log in as basically Stalin. Let's log in as what? Stalin. So how will you log in as Stalin? Can you tell me? How do you log in as Stalin? Can you tell me? Huh? How do you log in as Stalin? Sudo? Switch user, Baba. Yes or no? Switch user. After switch user, what we will do? Stalin. What it will ask? Password. Correct? Now, which is the present working directory by default? EC2. Correct? Now, can I do ls on EC2? No. How do I change to Stalin's working directory? Correct? Now, if I do ls working, which is the present working directory now, can I create one file inside this as well? Yes. Correct? Now, if I do cd dot dot, what will I do? Go back to home. If I now do ls, see, under home, 3 folders are there, but I've logged in as what? Stalin. Can Stalin now switch to Mike folder? Can he access the Mike folder? Can he do that? They are individual folders and not accessible by other people by default. It is your personal workspace, the personal things that you want to keep it there. Did you understand this now? The user management is kind of very, very important because when you log into EC2, you will not log in with PEM file. There is an option to log into EC2 with the usernames and passwords. Got it? Anyways, we will keep doing the advancements in these lectures and we will keep understanding it. Let me do an exit now. Okay. Now let's say I created a user account, but now I'm interested in deleting the user account. I'm interested in deleting the user account. How do I delete the user account? So if I now want to delete the user account, sudo user delete. Which is the user you want to delete? But when you delete the user Mike, like this, if you delete, you will notice that the username is deleted, but not its working directory. Which is his working directory for Mike? Mike folder. So Mike user is deleted. Okay. But if you now go back, cd dot dot back to home ls. Did we delete the Mike? No, that is not deleted. Did you understand now? If you're using this command sudo user delete mic, it will only delete the user, okay, but it is not going to delete the folder. You can also see here cd, let's do a tilde, okay. Now let's do one thing. When I do cd tilde, which is my working directory now, so this time I will use here user delete, user delete, okay. Let me do here Stalin, but I'll use hyphen hyphen remove. Now what this does, it will not just delete the user Stalin, but the working directory of Stalin is also gone. How, sir? Can we check that? Yes, dot dot back to home ls. Did you understand now? So you have two options here. If you just want to delete the user, you can type sudo user del username. That will delete the user, but the work done by the user is still preserved. Could be we want to use it for the future reference. But now the work done by the user is of no use. Reason being is I cannot use that particular thing because he has just done some practicing out there, some wrong things he has done out there, and I would not like to go with that. I hope this part is clear, all of you. Yes, everybody got this now? Okay. Now let's move ahead further. CD tilde, CD tilde. Okay. And let's clear the screen. Now, what is the next thing we're going to do here? Now we'll look at how to change the username and how do we change the passwords, by the way. Let's try to understand now how to change the usernames and how to change the passwords. So how do we do this now? Okay. So firstly, let me create a user again. Sudo what? User add, and then give some name. We'll give the name Alice this time. Yes. Then what you will do next thing? Sudo. What is that? passwd. What we will give here now? The password. What is the password? No. I have to give here Alice and then give the password. Okay. Let's give retype the password. Now let's say I want to change the password. How do I change the password? How do I change the password? See, the same command when executed second time, it will tell you to change the password. Got it? There is no other command for change the password. See, first time when I executed it, it says, okay, new password, retype the password. The same command when I'm executing it this time, see, changing the password. Is this clear everyone now? So this is the same command for giving new password or change the password. Let me give the new password. Okay, and now the password change is been done, which means I'm able to now, okay, give the new password or change the password with the same command. There is no other command out there basically for it. Okay, so what did we learn so far? Tell me, what is the first command I started with? Come on, tell me, what is the first command I started with? What is the first command we started with? Can you please tell me? Yes, online students, I hope people are able to understand. हाँ, कुछ तो बता दो भैया. हाँ, SED. Okay, what is SED used for? What is stream editor used for? Manipulating the text data without even opening the file. Okay, so what are the four operations we can do it in SED? We can do substitution of a particular content, that is a particular keyword, deletion, printing, insertion. Fine. Okay. Then after that, we people earlier to that discussed about back revision, VI editor. We saw in VI editor how to create a file, then after that how to write the content and how to save the content, and how to quit without saving, and how to just quit. Is this clear everyone now? So we saw quit, quit without saving, save and quit. We studied all of these things. Then earlier to that we studied about cat. What are the different ways to create a file in Linux? What is the first way to create a file in Linux? Touch command. Touch command can create empty file. Again, if I use a touch command on the same file, will it replace a file or change the timestamp? It will change the timestamp. What is the second way to create a file? Cat command. What is the third way to create a file? Huh? VI editor. But can I use a SED editor, SED, and create a file? Huh? Yes. How? हाउ? चलो ये असाइनमेंट को यस बोल रहा है, अगर क्रिएट कर सकते तो कैसे क्रिएट करोगे मुझे जरूर बताना। हाँ, क्या हो गया? चलो ठीक है, अभी उसका आंसर नो में बदल गया है। तो इंटरव्यू में यही होने वाला है, आप यस बोलोगे, 4 बार पूछेंगे आर यू श्योर, आर यू श्योर, आर यू श्योर, फिर बोलोगे नो सर। सो बी कॉन्फिडेंट ऑन योर आंसर्स, राइट? द बेस्ट सोल्यूशन इन इंटरव्यूज, इफ यू डोंट नो से आई डोंट नो, बच जाओगे। Okay, but anyways, let's continue further now. I hope this part is all clear. Yes. Okay, so with this now we have covered some important commands out here and some important content we have seen. Now there are some other things we need to very carefully focus on, work on, is groups, user groups. Now what is this user groups? By the way, we created users now, correct? Now, in future, what we will do, the users that we have created now, I want to set certain permissions on them. Okay, that this user can do these things, this user can do these things, this user can do some other things. I want to restrict the users by giving a set of permissions on them. Now, imagine I have 5 developers. I have 5 DevOps engineers and 5 some other people basically. Now, I have totally 15 users. Now, think about it, the challenges that I have it here. How many users I have? Let's say there are 3 teams. Forget about all these conventions for now. We'll just go with the layman terminology. There are 3 teams. Team 1, 5 people. Team 2, 5 people. Team 3, 5 people. Every team I want to set certain permissions. Now, if I don't use this groups feature, then what will happen is now I will have to individually set the permission 15 times. Correct? I will have to individually set the permissions 15 times. Now think about it, what if the team is bigger than that? Correct? The team is bigger than that. Then you cannot expect me to individually set the permissions on every user, and also I might go wrong. Sometimes, basically, while setting the permission, I gave the wrong permission to the user. करेक्ट, एंड दैट यूजर नाउ ही आस्क्ड मी हाइक, आई डिड नॉट गिव मी हाइक, रुको इनको बराबर करता हूं, रुको जरा बोल के क्या क्या जाते वक्त सारा डिलीट मार के निकल गया, राइट? Confusions might happen because when the repeated task is being done, correct, some mistakes might happen. So we have a concept basically here in Linux called as creating user groups. Okay, group means I'm creating one group, adding the people into that group, and I can set the permission on group. ग्रुप में परमिशन लगा दिया मतलब सारे यूजर्स पे परमिशन लग गया. What does it mean? If the permissions are given at the group level, if I set any permissions at the group level, the users that I will add into that group, the users that I'm going to add in that particular group automatically will be having these permissions that is applied on the group. So putting permission in one place, those permissions are applicable for all the users in that group. And that will make my permissions related activity to be carried out easily. Did you understand this, everyone, now? So let's see what is that we have it here now. Okay, what is that we have it here? Let's see that here. How to remember all the command? देखो, रोज 5 बार सवेरे प्रैक्टिस करो, 5 बार शाम में प्रैक्टिस करो. Automatically you will get handy with the command. Practice करते जाओगे, automatically you will remember. Is this clear? Every day you keep practicing this command, half an hour is enough. Not more than half an hour. Morning half an hour, evening half an hour, done. Rest of the time invest on Java. Okay, see this here now. So what it says, when a user is created, a corresponding group is created with a user group helps manage the permissions efficiently. Okay, whenever we basically create a user group, it will help us to manage the permissions on those users. If I have 100 users, put that in that group. But yeah, DevOps team will not have 100 users under one group, which is not basically ideal. But I'm just telling you, when the group is very large, just put a permission. New person joined, then you need not put the permission on that. Create a user, add that to the group, and the permissions are automatically on that particular user. Okay, now the comes question is, okay, when a user is created, a corresponding group is automatically created. See, it means whenever you create a user, for that user also one default group is created, right? But we will be more interested in creating a user group and adding the users to it. Let's see this here. Okay, display all groups. Firstly, let's see all the groups that we have it here. So how do we see all the groups basically, right? So earlier we saw cat slash etc slash passwd. What that was doing, that was giving me all the users that are present. Now let me paste this in here, and when you apply cat, you can see that I've got all these user groups. Most of them are all built in, right? Which is nothing to do with us. But you can see this here. I created a user Alice, correct? So there is one group automatically created for Alice. One group is automatically created for Alice. That is the default rule here. You create a user, one default group is been created, and on that group there are some permissions added. This horrible looking 1001, what you notice there, there are certain permissions. Got it? We'll talk about these permissions later. Okay, we'll discuss about these permissions in the further lecture. But for now, by default, there is some permission out there. If you notice EC to user, देखो वहां पे 1000 लिखा हुआ है, मतलब उसका permission अलग है. अब सर ये what is this permission? We will see step by step. But when I created Alice, what is the permission? So now basically the permission is actually attached on that particular group. And what is the group here? The group is near nothing but what? Alice. I hope this part is clear, everyone. Everyone clear with this part? Okay, let's create one more user. Come on, help me out with that. Sudo user add. Let's give some username, Thyson. Correct? Sudo passwd, and you're giving the password for what? Thyson. Correct? Let's give the password. Okay. Now let's see here. Cat command slash etc slash group. Do you notice now? Is this clear, everyone? Now everybody got this part, what we are talking about. Is this clear? Let's move ahead further. Now the next thing what we are going to observe here is very importantly is how do we create the user groups, right? How do we create the user groups? Now if you want to create a user group, you can use a command sudo group add and create the users, right? But मुझे लग रहा है आज के लिए इतना काफी है. ठीक है एवरीवन, आज के लिए काफी है इतना. यस, यहाँ स्टॉप करते. I'm not giving username and password same. See, when I type here sudo password Thyson, I'm telling please set the password for this user Thyson. This is not password. Password that I'm typing you cannot see for security purpose. Whatever password I'm typing here, that is hidden. See, now if I do this, it'll update password. I'm typing password. You're not able to see. Again, I'm typing password. You're not able to see. Got it? So you're setting a password for what? Thyson. That is the meaning here. Okay? Right. Notes दूंगा भी, रुक जाओ, दूंगा, सबको दूंगा. Right? Bye guys, take care. We'll meet up again in the next class. That is, was today's class clear? Was today's class clear?